Hey guys, my name is Akash Conver. I run a social media management and video editing agency purely off the back of Upwork. And last month, or actually this month, I spent $700 on Upwork Connects and I made back over $10,000 in revenue from new clients that I got using those connects. So in this video, I want to show you everything that I've done to optimize my portfolio, my profile, my cover letter, all that, so you can see exactly how I did this and hopefully you can replicate it too. And no, I do not sell any courses, nothing like that. No private communities that you have to pay a lot of money for or any money for. My community is free. Anyways, let's get into the video. Here we have it. This month I spent $700 on Upwork Connects. Revenue generated from new clients was $5,250, and this is not considering lifetime value per client. Okay, so this is just work that we got immediately this month from the $700. Now, usually clients, they will stay for at least 2 months. My true LTV is around 6 months, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to say like, all right, they stay for at least 2 months. That I know for a fact. I mean, this is also a fact. They do stay around for around 6 months when they start working with me, but some people might think I'm exaggerating or just doing wishful thinking if I calculate for the actual lifetime value. So anyways, just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to keep it at 2 months. So $5,250 times 2 months that they stay on for at least $10,500. So that's how I got the math here. Now, if you want some proof, I've got some screenshots here. So right here, this says June, but this was actually completed in May. All of the green boxes is new projects that I've gotten. And this screenshot doesn't show all, oh yeah. And then all this is Upwork Connects that I've purchased. So the $700 worth of Upwork Connects. But this screenshot doesn't show all the Upwork Connect purchases because half the connects I purchased were funded by the money that I had in Upwork's escrow. So if you don't know, then if you have available funds on Upwork, you can choose to either buy connects from your bank account or using the money that's in your available funds. These are other projects as well. So 2.8K here. I'm not sure how much this turns out to, probably only like 1,000, maybe like a little bit more than 1,000. And then I also have 1.1K new clients that I haven't yet charged through Upwork. So I don't have that screenshot. It's May 30th. So I still have today and tomorrow to get those deals closed. What are Upwork Connects? Okay, Upwork is a platform where business owners post jobs/gigs for freelancers or agencies. You can think of Upwork Connects like arcade tokens and think of Upwork posts as arcade games. The Upwork posts is basically just like the job post you can think of, or the project post, okay? So some are more complex, they require more tokens. Some are less complex and they require less tokens. Okay, in my experience, it averages out to around $1.20 per project that you apply to. And if you don't have any money for Upwork Connects, your two options are get a part-time job, even if you hate it, it's only temporary, okay? Or try the free method. Now, warning, this is against terms of service, but if you are desperate, then maybe it's worth the risk for you. The free method is basically, long story short, is when people post jobs on Upwork or projects on Upwork, sometimes they'll leave their handle for Instagram or for their email address or whatever, or their website. So what you want to do is go through their Instagram page or their website and then find out their contact information, send them an email and be like, hey, I'm a video editor. I can edit your videos for social media, whatever. Probably shouldn't link it towards the Upwork post. You probably shouldn't say like, hey, I saw your post on Upwork, and I don't know. That's up to you though. Like I said, it is against terms of service. So if Upwork finds out somehow, you're pretty much screwed. Okay. Maybe they'll give you a slap on the wrist the first time, but they can ban you too if they choose. Now here's an example scenario. Okay, so let's say you apply to 100 posts, should be around $120 in Upwork Connects. Let's say you get one client to give you a chance for a recurring simple service. What is a recurring simple service? Let's say you're just posting on their social media for them. Maybe you're doing some basic video editing, basic graphic design, social media assistant, podcast assistant, audio engineer. So many more digital services that you could offer. Lead generation if you already know how to do that and you have experience. There's just so many services that you could offer. Let's say they need 5 hours a week of help, paying $10 an hour. Now look, I'm just using the worst case kind of scenario here because you can get clients that pay $100 an hour too, but like I said, I want to show you the worst case scenario for the math, okay? And you do not have to charge an hourly rate, okay? You can charge a flat fee or a flat monthly fee as well. I am just using this number for easy math, okay? So we have 5 hours a week times $10 an hour, $50 a week, or $200 a month. Now for that first month, you're only profiting $80, which is not great, but if you are decent at your service, clients will work with you for many, many months. So the next month you profit 200, and the month after that you profit 200, and the month after that you profit 200. So after 4 months of working with the client, you still only spent $120 to acquire them, right? You don't have to, like, once you get the client, you don't have to keep spending money to get them to give you more work. So that means you only spent $120 to acquire them, but you've generated $800 in revenue in the 4 months. And just as another reminder, I'm just using like a worst case scenario, okay? Obviously, this should be a lot higher than this. If you spend $120, you should be able to generate $800 in the first month. Every single niche, every single service is different. Obviously, if you're a complete beginner, you have no reviews, no portfolio and everything, you're probably gonna have to apply on the lower end of things. But once you have a little bit more experience and you get that momentum built up, then you can start charging the big bucks. You shouldn't rely on Upwork to find super high ticket clients consistently. This is just something for people who are just starting out and need a way to consistently build their portfolio, consistently get clients, really to, I would say, jumpstart your freelancing career or jumpstart your agency. So thanks to Upwork, I've been at 10K plus a month for the past 10 months. This goes to show Upwork is not just for little side gigs to make a couple bucks here and there. If you use it properly, you can make a full-time income online. My goal right now is to try and get to like consistent 20K a month. I mean, at our peak, we did 17K a month. Hopefully by the end of this year, I can say like, all right, thanks to Upwork, I've been at 20K a month for the past 6 months or whatever, but we'll see how that goes. You should subscribe to my channel and so you could see if I make it work out or not. Now, here's a good profile versus a bad profile. Even works for someone who has zero experience. Here's a bad profile. Look at the picture. This sucks. It's blurry. It's off-center. There's no smile. You don't look friendly. You don't look approachable. Looks like a mugshot. The lighting is too dark. It's kind of hard to see the face. You should clearly see your face, okay? Now, imagine this is the profile description. And I'm not making this stuff up, by the way. So not only do I get clients from Upwork, but I also hire team members from Upwork. So I do a lot of hiring, a lot of interviews. And when I'm interviewing people, sometimes I will see a profile description that looks like this. Able to communicate well with others, takes on constructive criticism, shares new ideas, video editor and content creator, new to Upwork, please give me a chance. And for their portfolio, they have no portfolio at all. They just like leave this as a profile. Now, here is a good profile. As you can see, we're still using McLovin. All right, so this one is a clear picture. It's center framed. He's smiling, so he looks friendly and approachable. He's got some professional attire on. You don't need to have professional attire as long as the photo looks good and as long as you're not wearing like a wife beater. The lighting is still dark on his face a little bit, but this is the best McLovin photo that I could find, so it'll have to do for now. Here is a much better profile description, okay? And look, we have ChatGPT nowadays, guys. If you're just not that good of a writer, then, use ChatGPT, put inputs like, hey, here are my skills. Can you please write a brief description for me? And then clean it up, make it a little bit more personalized once ChatGPT spits it out. So I'm just going to read this. I'm a skilled video editor specializing in podcasts and short form content. Okay, you see, we already have a niche service here. Not only is this in demand, but it also shows that, okay, this guy is better than a generalist who probably does all sorts of media. It's like this guy actually knows the podcast industry that I'm in. So I have a deep understanding of all popular podcasting platforms. Again, doubling down on the niche service that you provide, okay? Constantly monitoring TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, Facebook for the latest short form content trends. With a strong background in storytelling, I'm able to create compelling, engaging content that resonates with the audience. My skills include listing all these video editing softwares, audio mixing, strong attention to detail, ability to meet tight deadlines. There's a little typo here. It probably should have been a period right here, but just imagine it's proper punctuation and everything. I'm excited to bring my skills and experience to new and challenging projects. I'm committed to delivering high quality work on time and within budget. Let's work together to create something great. Do not copy and paste this. All right. This is like, you can do a lot better than this, but I'm just giving you kind of a frame to work off of. Do not just straight up copy and paste this. Okay. Now the portfolio, let's say for McLovin's portfolio, McLovin 2.0, the one that has a good picture. Let's say they include before and after versions of popular podcasts, short form clips to show how they could optimize content with their editing, right? So how this would look is you could have let's say for a video editor, the aspect ratio for a video is usually going to be horizontal, but let's say on this side you have like the before. Okay, so you have a before of Joe Rogan's podcast, and then you have the after of Joe Rogan's podcast. And when I say before and after, I mean like this is just how Joe Rogan or someone posted on TikTok a Joe Rogan clip. There's no editing. It sucks. There's like the lighting is terrible, blah, blah, blah. And then you show them like, and this is my version of the edit. So you fix everything and it looks all good. And maybe you put in some effects or whatever, or maybe you just choose a better hook. Whatever it is, you want to show that you have the ability to do what you said in here. So what you said was you specialize in short form content editing for podcast too. So your portfolio should show that. And if you don't have any experience, you don't need to work for Joe Rogan to take his video and then download it and then recreate it and re-edit in your own way. Like, they don't need to be your client. And obviously don't lie and be like, yeah, Joe Rogan was my client and I did this. Like, no one's going to believe you if you just lie, okay? And also lying just hurts you in the long term. You don't want to do that. But this is something that you could do. So for creative services, a lot easier. If you're doing ads and you're doing like Facebook ads, I know a lot of gurus online, they'll say you can just take case studies from your media buyer if you like outsource the media buyer to someone. I don't know. I don't really feel too good about doing that. I used to try that out. It kind of worked. It just never really resonated with me. So I don't recommend doing it. Just choose a service that you actually know how to do. It'll be a lot easier and you will make money a lot faster. Trust me. Even if Facebook ads theoretically can, you can make 10K a month with 2 clients with Facebook ads. It's like, I mean, if you don't know how to run the Facebook ads, well, no one's going to hire you, dude. So what? But there is also still a way. Even if you don't have any experience with Facebook ads and you're super passionate about trying to get into it and you want an entry-level position for it, super basic junior media buyer thing, then what you can do for the portfolio is create like mock ads. And then that way you're kind of doing the same thing of the before and after thing here, where you're showing like, hey, these are the ads that, this one brand or your brand is doing right now. This is the before. And then look how I created the ads. I redid the hook. I redid the creative. We should be testing these angles. We should budget this much % to this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Show them all that. That might work for someone who doesn't have experience, but ads are a little bit more difficult. Good portfolio versus bad portfolio. I kind of already went over that a little bit, but I'm using video editing as an example. These principles can be applied to any service. Okay. So a bad portfolio is, first of all, you have nothing. If you have nothing, then what? What? Poor quality edits. So compare your edits to edits from popular content creators. Like I said, I'm using video editing as an example, but the principles can be applied to any service, okay? So poor quality edits. Comparing your edits. I got to make sure the mic is on because last time I recorded, the mic was off the whole time. So yeah, I just went over this in the last section, comparing your edits to edits from popular content creators or transforming the edits, making it even better. Inconsistent editing style. Let's say some of your edits are really good and you're really proud of them, but some of them you're just like, this edit is kind of like not good, but whatever, I'll just throw it on. Don't do that. Your portfolio should be the best of your work, okay? And then it's not up to date. So let's say all of your videos and all of your portfolio stuff are from like a year ago. Not really good for the space of social media because social media is changing rapidly, very, very quick all the time. Like every few months, it's almost like we have a new trend to do, a new editing trend, new ad trend, whatever it is that you do. Okay. So you want to make sure that's up to date, preferably a year, like within a year. Now, a good portfolio, only your best edits, okay? So either quality-wise or metrics-wise. So let's say one of your videos, you didn't really edit it that well, but maybe you did a really good job choosing the hook. And because of that hook and because of the trending topic at the time, that video went viral for a client. Even if it's not necessarily the best quality-wise, the psychology behind the video, obviously, and the metrics prove that the psychology behind the video and the timing of when it was released was very successful. So you can use that in your portfolio. Also shows your specialty. So a niche service provider beats a general provider. Okay, let's say you are competing. There's 2 people, all right, and then the client needs help from one of these guys. Okay, one of these guys is just only works with podcast edits. Okay, you already know where I'm going with this, dude. One guy only does podcast edits. The other one does everything under the sun. So he does like ads, this, that. He kind of knows podcasts, but the same way that he kind of knows everything else, just like surface level stuff. And whereas you're like, yeah, I know Riverside. I do this, I do that. I know these tactics, all this kind of stuff. Obviously, they're going to choose you over the generalist because they're like, okay, this dude is in my industry. He actually knows his stuff. He knows all these platforms. He has his portfolio is only podcast stuff. So it's like all he does is podcast. Perfect. Let me work with him. All right. Now compare your edits to editing styles of most popular social media creators, like an Alex Hormozi style edit, or you can say Mr. Beast style editing. Like in your portfolio, you can say like, here's an example of a Mr. Beast style editing. Here's an example of Alex Hormozi style editing. Here's an example of Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, whatever the big names are in your niche. You can compare it to that. Like here, this is like me mimicking their style just to show you that I am capable of doing what these guys do at this really high level. Now, up-to-date portfolio with the latest trends. So what I said earlier, just don't have stuff that's like from 1+ year ago. Now, optimized cover letter. Okay, so for this cover letter, same thing with the profile description. Do not copy and paste this, okay? You're just going to kind of shoot yourself in the foot. Actually, maybe copy and paste this. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of places for you to be personalized here. This is how I recommend doing it, though, okay? Hello, name. Now, how do you find the name? What you can do is in the project description, sometimes you can go and you can look at the client's history, and then you can see the client's ratings. Now, when you see the client's ratings from previous freelancers they've worked with, sometimes freelancers will say, Josh, or like, it was a pleasure working with Josh. He was a great client. And now you know their name. Or you could visit their profile if they listed their like Instagram page or the website, and you can see who they are. So you can say, or their company name too, right? So let's say it's a company and they say the name of their company. You can say, hello, company name. So that's how you find that. Personalized line acknowledging something they wrote in the project description. Let's say they need a podcast editor. What you would say is, hello, name. I saw you just recently launched this podcast and you need help from an audio engineer to make sure that everything sounds smooth and you're removing all the hisses and the short ums and uhs or something like that, whatever. Luckily for you, I guess you don't say luckily for you, that sounds kind of weird, but I specialize in podcasting editing. You can check out my portfolio here, and then you should create like a mini VSL. Now I can create an entire video for a mini VSL and how to do it, but basically it's just a video that you're recording of yourself explaining your services and showing your portfolio. Okay, so it's kind of like a cover letter actually. Yeah, it's almost exactly like the cover letter. You can start literally here for the mini VSL, like, hey, welcome to thanks for clicking on my profile and checking out this video. I specialize in da-da-da-da. Here are some examples. This is a niche I'm very excited about. So you could probably do that. This is enough for you to do a mini VSL here, but I can get into more detail in the future. But that's basically what it is. It's like an elevator pitch, you can say. You don't want it to be too long either. If it's too long, people aren't going to watch it. I think right now my VSL is a little bit too long on Upwork, so I have to create an updated one. And then after that, here are some examples of similar projects I've worked on. Now, you're going to be talking about this in the VSL most likely, or you're going to link to your portfolio if you don't have a VSL. But just to reduce the friction of that client acquiring the information of your experience, right? Like it may not seem like that big of a deal, especially if someone's hiring someone. You're like, obviously they're going to check out my portfolio if I link it there, right? You'll be surprised. Sometimes they don't. So in case they don't click on your portfolio, you want to just include the top 3 examples that you have right underneath it. Okay, so here are some examples of similar projects I've worked on. You list the examples here. It's going to be the same exact thing in your portfolio. You're just making it very, very easy for them to see, reducing the amount of friction it takes for them to understand your expertise and the value that you can bring. Now, podcasting is something I'm very passionate about because of X, Y, and Z. Just, explain why are you passionate about it. And if you're not passionate about it and you're just doing this to make money, then I don't know, make something up, I guess. For the first time clients, I offer a complimentary whatever. You can do like a short form content edit. You can do a some sort of discount, maybe like or an audit, something like that. If you're interested in working together, I'm happy to hop on a quick Zoom call to learn more about your brand and expectations. So this is good because if you're confident enough to hop on a Zoom call with them, then it kind of gives them the, this is relationship building, right? You're building a relationship. You're making sure that they can trust you. That is what it is. Now, when you're on a Zoom call with someone, you're talking face to face to them through the webcam. That's like the easiest way to build trust and for someone to see, Josh or Akash is a normal guy. He's just doing this. He has, posters in the background. He has these similarities to me. He stutters all the time. As you can see, I keep messing up my words, man. And they just get to know you as a person. You get to chit chat a little bit. You don't have to go and do this whole the crazy sales process. Actually, that's the next thing I'm getting into. So let me get into the sales process. Okay. So handling sales calls. Okay. A lot of people get nervous about this and I don't blame you. I hated sales and that's why I chose to do Upwork, because with Upwork, you have the power to pre-sell someone and you don't have to do the cold emails or the cold outreach or the cold calling or anything like that. You don't have to be super salesy, anything like that. You don't have to use, weird tactics that a lot of salespeople try to use, and nothing forceful, nothing like that. Okay. That's why I like it, because it seems like such an easy sales process. Just think about it like this though, guys, okay? This is not, it's not a conversation where you're trying to persuade someone to working with you. It is a qualification discussion to see if your service matches their needs. And then at the end, they choose ultimately whether they want to go with you or not. Obviously, there's things that we can, adjust to make it more likely that they'll choose you. And that's what I'm going to go over here. But just get in the mindset of all right, I'm going to talk to this client. I have this meeting with them. Instead of being nervous, this is just a normal discussion where I'm qualifying them. Put the power into your side. I'm qualifying them. And sometimes though, there are going to be clients where it's man, this client is a perfect fit. I qualified them. I would love to work with them, but then maybe they choose someone else, so they're just not interested in working with you. get over it, man. It is what it is. All right. You just get on a bunch of more sales calls. Trust me, you'll get really comfortable. I was a nervous wreck when I first started doing sales calls. It was super embarrassing. But let's get into this. So spend 10 minutes researching the client's brand so you're not clueless during the sales call. Start by calling them, or start the call by letting them know that you checked out the brand. Really like XYZ about the brand. This is a really good way to have a good first impression. Hey, Akash, I checked out Everest Valley Media. I checked out your YouTube channel. Really like what you're doing, man. Your last videos seem to get really good engagement. So, I think stemming off of that is probably a good job. Or I don't know. I'm babbling right now. Whatever. You get where I'm going with that. Do not go in trying to lead the conversation and forcing the conversation to follow an obvious script. Dude, while I was hiring for video editors and social media managers for my own agency, I ran into this a few times, particularly one time where I was having a conversation with this guy and I was answering a question of his, and I was trying to, after I asked him that question, I had some follow-up questions that I just thought of on the spot. So I started asking him some of those stuff, and he quickly just dismissed those questions, not in a super rude way. He didn't just completely ignore, but it's like, he was like, yeah, I'll get to that in a second. So the next thing that I want to talk about is da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, bro, this guy doesn't even care about learning about what I have to say. He doesn't even care about this. So I ended the call and I was like, hey, like, sorry, it's not going to work out. So instead, just have a list of questions. What I like to call it is like a bullet point script, okay? So it is kind of still a script where you have points that you need to hit. But when you just have the bullet points rather than having to follow an exact sales script, then you have a lot more freedom of letting the conversation kind of flow naturally, okay? So that's what I prefer. So after you research their brand, just ask them some stuff while letting the conversation flow naturally. And also in your niche, you're going to figure out like, okay, most of the times when I get on this call, I need to figure out this information. So over time, you'll start to learn what questions you need to ask as well. Now, I know at like a higher level sales job, you're going to be required to follow a script. All the people who are like top sales guys, they say you need a script and you need to absolutely memorize it. I am making this, and I say this in mind of someone who's brand new to freelancing, brand new to trying to get clients. It can be a little bit intimidating to memorize an entire script and to try and, regurgitate that through a sales call. So that's why I'm saying do this, okay? At the high level, like I'm not even at that level yet. So when I get there, I'll probably have to follow a script, okay? But for now, this is what I do. It feels a lot more natural to me, and it's it's a lot better. Every single time I try to do a scripted approach, I suck at the sales call. I just sound like an idiot. But maybe that's just a problem with me. Maybe you do better with the script. It's up to you. So some prospects will get on the call and immediately take lead. Okay. Some prospects won't know what to say and will allow you to take lead. Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. Don't try to completely change someone. Their personality is their personality. Just work with it. Okay. If the conversation is getting off topic, say something like, so I usually have a list of questions I like to ask during these meetings to get a better, so I can better understand how to help you. Do you mind if I just rapid fire them to you? Usually that will make the conversation or make the prospective client be like, oh yeah, go ahead. Let's do this. And then they'll answer all the questions for you. Okay. Cause sometimes when you get on calls, like it can get way off topic and then all of a sudden you're like 15 minutes deep into the conversation. You haven't even gotten to the actual point of trying to help them out. Maybe you just were talking about something else. And then conclude the conversation by reaffirming you can confidently help them, relate their request to something you've already done in the past or something you have researched a lot. Now, the reason I included this, something you've researched a lot, is because when I was starting off, I really wanted to work with coaches and consultants, even though I didn't work with them at that point. So at that point, even though I didn't work with any coaches or consultants, I would say I'm a big fan of the coaching and consulting space. I've paid for these courses already. I watch all these people. So I'm very, very in tune. And this is something I'm very, very passionate about. So that would kind of help me with the sales process, because I couldn't tell them like, hey, I've worked with this coach before, that consultant before. I couldn't say those things. Now, if you want to give yourself a little advantage, offer some sort of freebie. This could be a complimentary audit, a free video editing sample, discounted rate for the first month, whatever you can afford to do and that makes sense for your niche, okay? So by following this, I was able to get my Upwork agency or my SMMA or whatever you want to call it, middleman business, Upwork middleman. I was able to get it to above 10K a month. Right now, shooting for above 20K a month. Hopefully I can get there soon. But comment what you need help with and I'll make a video about it. There are plenty of clients for all of us. So take advantage of Upwork before it's too late. Do yourself a favor and do this. See you guys.